Trump continues to insult his former Attorney General William Barr, and this time he's doing so in the form of a letter to Lester Holt. Now, this sounds like another edition of a catfight. All right, so as we know, William Barr, who carried quite a bit of water for Trump, ended up ruining his relationship with Trump when he refused to carry out Trump's orders to essentially dismantle what's left of our democratic process. He wanted William Barr to help overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. William Barr apparently has some standards. He refused to do so, and then later criticized Trump about what he was attempting to do in his book. Now, Trump didn't like that and decided to write a letter to Lester Holt about it. Before we get to the content of the letter, I just want to note, he's writing this letter, this is a letter from him, and he crossed out "Dear Mr. Holt" to write Lester. Why didn't you just ensure it was typed that way to begin with? It's just a weird thing that Trump
Or why
does.
don't you have them retype it? You're the former president of the United States. You claim to be a billionaire. You could hire someone to retype the letter instead of giving away that you didn't. You dictated it at best. Well, you'll see in the contents, it was definitely Trump who dictated it.
100%,
Okay.
100%. So what did Trump have to say about William Barr? Bill Barr cares more about being accepted by the corrupt Washington media and elite than serving the American people. He was slow, lethargic, and I realized early on that he never had what it takes to make a great attorney general. It's amazing because he kept talking about how he surrounds himself with the best people. He hires the best people, he appoints the best people. How many of those people did he sour on later?
Yeah.
Both of his attorney generals, okay? Jeff Sessions and William Barr.
Almost all of them.
All of them.
Because and all of his chiefs of staff. Why? They go in there, they think they can help what they think is an awful right winger, which they like that idea. They get in there and they realize, oh no, he's clinically sick, mentally sick. He's an out of control narcissist, and you can't get him to focus, you can't get him to reason. He's only obsessed with himself. Now that's what William Barr is saying. That's what we told you was the case. But they all go in there going, well, maybe I can control that monster, because they like monsters. They just don't like one that's completely obsessed with himself. They were hoping to be monsters together, right? And that's who William Barr is. But that letter is hilarious. It's so obviously dictated by Trump, then edited by the guy who he dictated it to, and then re-edited with Sharpies by Trump, because Trump didn't say the word lethargic. It's not in his vocabulary. He's never said that out loud. He probably doesn't know what the word means.
I know the best words.
Yeah, sure you do. I invented the word fake. He once literally said that, okay? So you know what he called him? This is my guess, okay? He called him fat and lazy. And the person he was dictating it to said, Mr. President.
Let's spice it up. Let's spice it up. Let's go with lethargic. Yeah, no, I love it. It's hilarious. No, but it gets worse. But guys, you wanna stick around because William Barr's response to all of this is the best part of this entire story, okay? But before we get to it, a few more excerpts from this letter. When the radical left Democrats threatened to hold him in contempt and even worse, to impeach him, he became virtually worthless to law and order and election integrity. He wanted William Barr to overturn the will of the American people. Trump and his cronies lost more than 60 court cases or hearings in regard to election fraud, right? Every single judge, including judges that he had nominated, actually ruled against him because they had no evidence of widespread voter fraud. But Trump writes of Barr, they broke him just like a trainer breaks a horse. Barr refused to go after the fraud and irregularities that had so openly taken place in the 2020 presidential election. It was so sad to watch. When he stated there was no fraud in the election, it was a virtual joke, and anyone that knew what had actually gone on, in particular within the swing states, I can't imagine, even if you're a Trump supporter, you have to be exhausted by the fact that he won't let this go. You have to be. I mean, the constant whining and crying. But Cenk, like I said, the best part was that William Barr did respond to this. He had an interview with Savannah Guthrie, and he's like, well, you know, this is par for the course. This is what Trump does. And then she asked him an important question about what he would do in a theoretical situation. Let's watch.
Well, I certainly have made it clear I don't think he should be our nominee, and I'm going to, support somebody else for the nomination.
But if he is the nominee and you have your choices, Donald Trump or whoever's running on the Democratic side, would you vote for him?
Because I believe that the greatest threat to the country is the progressive agenda being pushed by the Democratic Party. It's inconceivable to me that I wouldn't vote for the Republican nominee.
So even if he lied about the election and threatened democracy, as you write in your book, it's better than a Democrat.
It's hard to project what the facts are going to turn out to be 3 years hence, but as of now, it's hard for me to conceive that I wouldn't vote for the Republican nominee.
Poor William Barr. He's been taken on a ride on the beta bus.
You are beta male.
I don't know. I just find it shocking how easily these people allow themselves to be like unmanned by Trump, like again and again and again.
So we talked a lot about Barr when he was first coming in and how much he loves executive authority. He doesn't really believe in our system of government to begin with. He thinks Congress should not have much power at all, and neither should the Supreme Court. Ultimate executive authority is a king, an authoritarian leader. So William Barr is already signed up for that. He just didn't like that it was Trump. He liked it that it was Trump in the beginning. That's why he went to go join him. He raised his hand, came out of retirement. He hadn't been in politics in decades. He's like, wow, this guy looks like he could really end the country. I'm here for it, right? And so he wrote op-eds in favor of it, and all the way that Trump was exercising executive authority. I think the only thing that happened at the end was he realized, oh, Trump is just in it for himself and not the right-wing authoritarian movement. And we were hoping to end democracy together, install a right-wing government led just by the executive, and then we would pretend that that was democracy. But this Trump son of a bitch is just doing it for his own gain. Yeah, Bill, that's what he's doing it for. You know why? Because that's what every authoritarian leader does. What did you think was gonna happen? Did you think you were gonna get a magnanimous authoritarian leader who was gonna say, hey, you know what? Why don't we just let Bill Barr be in charge? No, whoever it was, they were gonna make you their toady, and they were gonna step all over you, and you were gonna have to lick their boots. Well, Billy come lately realized at the last moment, oh, this is what an anti-democratic revolution looks like.
Right.
And so and at the end he says, okay, I'm pulling this shoot, I'm not for Trump. But even then, when they say, okay, you just said Trump was trying to end democracy, would you vote for him? And he's like, yeah, maybe.
No, not maybe. Yes, if he were the Republican nominee, of course I would, because what's the other option? Progressives, they might raise my taxes.
Progressives, a lot of them are brown and black.
I mean,
progressives,
yeah,
they're not in favor of corporate rule. They're not in favor of the rich getting richer and the powerful having more power and ruling and oppressing everyone. Oh, no, they're anti-oppression. No, I'd rather have Trump end democracy than have progressives look out for the average voter. That's who this sick Bill Barr is. So I'm sure soon Nancy Pelosi will be hugging him on the floor of the House, but I'm not interested. Thank you for the information that you've revealed about Donald Trump. Otherwise, you can go ahead and join that Russian warship in effing yourself. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.